Hi, my name is Dr. Lucy Meier from Third Coast Foot and Ankle, and today we're going to talk about getting your feet better after a race. Now, your whole body gets beat up after a race, specifically a marathon or longer races, triathlons, whatever it is you do to abuse your body for joy. Now, we're going to obviously, there's all sorts of different things that you should be thinking about and doing and taking care of yourself after a race, but this video is going to focus mainly on how to take care of your feet and how to recover them afterwards. Now, it is very common to have blisters, toenail injuries, soreness, scrapes, all of that happen to your feet afterwards. So the first thing you need to do is just inspect the damage. If anything, one thing is specifically painful, obviously we start there. If you have blisters, tend to them, we tend to recommend not popping them for most locations. If you're having toenail pain, we do recommend soaking them at first with a little bit of Epsom salt and actually adding a little white vinegar to your water soaks to help ease some of that pain and discomfort. There are situations where your blisters may be bad enough or the toenail is painful enough that you may need to seek medical help to kind of help assist in getting those areas to heal. Typically, an infection takes 5 to 7 days to set in, so you typically don't see signs of an infection immediately after the race. But if you have some of these open sore injuries, either from blisters or toenail damage, and at day 5, 6, or 7, you're starting to notice increased redness or increased pain, that is a definite sign that there could be an infection starting there. And then you definitely need to seek out medical care to possibly get on an antibiotic or have some treatment to appropriately care for those needs. Now, second part of that is that you can have injuries all alone, and we oftentimes in these settings run through these injuries to some degree. So stress fractures are extremely common. So if you have any pinpoint pain or persistent pain in an area, you may need some x-rays to kind of have that further evaluated and ruling out any stress fractures. We can have stress fractures in any bone in our body, but specifically in the foot, we do see them more commonly in metatarsals. So this is kind of in the front of your foot, just behind the toes, though we can also see them in the heel, especially if you are a heel striker, and depending on your shoe gear, you could be at a higher risk for those types of stress fractures. So persistent pain, painful with every single step. And stress fractures are weird in the fact that as soon as you get off your feet, so it may be painful with every step, but as soon as you sit down, pain evaporates. If that is going on for multiple days, that's a sure sign that you do need x-rays. Now, we can also get muscle strains. We can get sprains. Typically, if you're going to sprain your foot or ankle, you probably tripped or twisted along the race at some time. If that pain is persistent with swelling, obviously we want to get x-rays because sometimes sprains and strains can cause avulsion fractures where the ligament actually pulls the bone away, which is not terribly uncommon. So once again, something you should probably get evaluated professionally to rule out any fractures. Now, there are also just kind of achiness, right? Like after the race, your whole body aches. But how do we take care of that effectively and efficiently in the foot and ankle? Now, one really effective way, which I cannot promote enough, is to actually wear compression stockings. So compression stockings really just make our body more efficient in this sense, kind of helping some of that lymphatic movement to go through there, help our muscles recover a little bit faster, getting some of that toxic waste products to kind of move through the process a little bit faster, help with some swelling and inflammation that we naturally will have after abusing our body. So if you have not tried using compression stockings, I highly recommend it. They can be extremely helpful after a race. They're obviously annoying, especially in the hot months, and nobody loves slipping those things on, but I would, if you can, tolerate them. Soaking can be helpful too. It's technically debatable on whether or not Epsom salts really do anything, but I think the theory is true that they are helpful, and so I would encourage you to do some soaking afterwards, preferably an ice bath if you can handle that too. That does some amazing things for recovery. If you can submerge those feet and or legs into a nice ice bath, that will only make you feel wonderful on the after end, though the shock of it initially can be a little deterrent. Now, the other thing, let's talk about shoe gear. After a run, everybody wants to kick their shoes off, rightfully so. You might have some blisters and other things that are causing some aggravation. Anytime you're wearing a shoe for that many miles, you're going to have some irritation. I'm a big fan of recovery shoes. So these are kind of your UFOs is the really popular brand, but you have something that's a little bit more a cushion, really recovery friendly, really soft on the joints and muscles, kind of stores a lot of energy and bounces back, so you're not using as much energy afterwards. Your body is exhausted. So getting yourself a really good pair of flip-flops or sliders. Hoka has a slider out there also. It doesn't have to be, something super crazy and technology driven, but something that's going to give you a little bit more support. I don't recommend being that person who kicks off their shoes and walks around barefoot. Your body is already exhausted, and walking barefoot, even though it is natural, it does take a lot of energy and a lot of pounding. Just think about where you're walking around. It's usually dirty, and then you got blisters, so you're just putting yourself at an increased risk of infection. So get yourself the good sandal or slider to slip into immediately after your race. So I hope you had a great race, and I hope you're laying on the couch just extremely proud of yourself, and just looking for ways to help yourself recover. If you found this helpful, hit the like button because that helps us. Once again, my name is Dr. Lucy Meier from Third Coast Foot and Ankle.